An article in the Financial Post argues that, quote, everyone has a role to play in making Canada a more entrepreneurial society by encouraging talented young people to see business ownership as a valued and rewarding career path. You've had an impressive career as a media industry entrepreneur. What tips do you have for young entrepreneurs, particularly in the digital media industry? And how do you personally actively help promote and foster Canada's entrepreneurial sector?
I think part of it is to participate in classes like this. Part of it is to not accept what people tell you is the traditional routes to achieve some goals and objectives. And I think the bottom line is you guys it may be a little difficult for you to appreciate it now because you're in school and you're worried about where am I going to get a job and how am I going to pay off my debts and all that sort of stuff. But the reality is there's no better time for you guys to be coming out into the business world. The opportunities are staggering, and a lot of big corporations and a lot of big companies just don't get it. So keep your eyes wide open, network like crazy, challenge everything that you see that sort of traditionally seems to be the right way to do things doesn't necessarily mean that that's the appropriate course or the appropriate path. And in terms of who's an entrepreneur, who's not an entrepreneur, I think probably there's a little of that in everybody, and some people are able to bring it out more than others. So
I want you to think about hiring Ryerson MBAs. They're really smart.
According to your website, theScore has one female on the board and one female on the leadership team. What is theScore's approach to gender diversity, and how is it impacted by your customer base and your product?
As a credit to Ralph, quite frankly, I mean, we were just fortunate enough to add Kirsten Stewart to our board, and it's one of the people you were referring to. She's amazing. She's just been there for 2 board meetings now. She happens to be amazing in a whole bunch of regards. Woman, not a woman, but just in terms of her knowledge in the digital business, her sports acumen. So it's a terrific addition. So it's something we struggle with. And part of the other problem too is we post for jobs, right? We post all the time. And there's a more of a propensity of males to apply for the jobs than women. So, our mandate is to pick the smartest people. That's what I want. I don't care who they are, I don't care where they come from, I don't care what their background is, but we want the smartest people. And the challenge, I think, is to get more women to come forward and to apply for those positions.
In an interview with Canadian Business, when asked about your best boss, you responded by saying the only bosses any of us have are our users and customers. Coming from a service background personally, I definitely agree with the sentiment. But based on this, what qualities do you look for when selecting managers within your organization?
People who are willing to listen and learn from the experiences that they're going through. I think that's the most important. If you can't respond appropriately to both to the customers and to the fellow employees, for example, if you have a person who's in a responsible position, who's dealing with people reporting to him, or if he's sitting on a committee with a bunch of other people, you got to know the audience, and you got to be very attentive, and you got to leave your egos at the door. And I think those are really the qualities that and the ability to sort of read other people. I think that's very important. If you're insightful in that regard, your chances of getting along in a group environment, working together, or learning what the customers want, paying attention to them, goes up astronomically. So I think that's the type of people we like working with us. So they got to be sharp, they got to be smart, they got to be young, but they got to be intuitive in terms of what's going on around them.
Yeah, huge untapped market for theScore. You have an active user base of about 4 million people. Really, what is the strategy that you have to grow this in the developing nations?
I think there's various stages to our growth. We definitely decided to concentrate on North America first because at the end of the day, this thing's got to make money, and it will make money. We're getting closer and closer. As you've probably seen, we just reported our last year. our Q4 and year-end results, and we're still not at the position where we're making money, but our revenue is increasing dramatically. We've got our control on expenses, and I think what we said publicly is by the end of this year coming up or into 2018, this company will turn profitable, which is exactly what happened, as Ralph was saying, with the TV network. When we started, it bled money for a whole bunch of years, but you got to invest in these things. So the growth strategy is to continue to push and pull every lever we can within North America to close the gap between us and ESPN. We are the second most, I mean, I actually, I say it and I almost don't believe myself when I say it. We are the second most popular app in North America, and the only one more popular than us is ESPN. Just in the context of the score and what we do. What do you guys think we should be moving into? Like, where are we falling? Like, just if anybody has this, and we could do this later, and maybe you can think about it. But I've been sort of responding in the context of here's where we're going, and here's what we're doing, and here's what we're trying. But more important for me is to know, where do you think we're falling short?